Welcome to the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast, where we focus on everyday wellness for everyone. I'm Adrienne Wheat, a registered nurse, here to share tips, habits, and lifestyle shifts that can help you feel your best by stabilizing blood sugar and improving your overall health. Everything we discuss is designed for general health and routine education because everyone deserves to feel empowered with the right information. But I'm not your personal nurse, so make sure to check with your healthcare provider before making any changes. Let's dive into today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast. I'm Adrienne Wheat, a registered nurse and your biggest fan on this journey to healthier living. Whether it's balancing your blood sugar, improving your relationship with food, or just feeling better in your body, I'm here for you every step of the way. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many of us, body image, and how it impacts our self-worth. Now, whether we like to admit it or not, how we see our bodies, especially when we're not feeling our best, affects so much more than just our appearance. It touches every part of our lives, from our health choices to our mental well-being, and especially how we see ourselves. Let's be honest, it's easy to feel insecure when we're not at our healthiest. Maybe you're struggling with blood sugar issues, or maybe overweight, or you've gained some weight recently, or you're just not feeling like yourself. On top of that, you might be surrounded by people, friends, family, maybe even strangers who have made hurtful comments. And sometimes the harshest comments come from ourselves. That little voice in your head that's always criticizing. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today too. This episode is for anyone who's ever looked in the mirror and felt less than. For anyone who's doubted their worth because of how they look or how they feel physically. We're going to unpack that together because, my friends, your body image does not determine your value. I know it's hard to fully believe that sometimes, but today, I want to help you get a little closer to making peace with your body and, more importantly, seeing yourself as the valuable, incredible person that you are. So settle in with a cozy drink, something blood sugar friendly, of course, and let's get started. So why does body image have such a huge effect on our self-worth? Well, let's break this down. We live in a world that's constantly throwing images at us on social media, TV, magazines, you name it, of what the perfect body is supposed to look like. It's often this airbrushed or photoshopped, unrealistic version of beauty that makes us feel like we're falling short. Now, add on top of that, the health struggles that many of us face, whether it's managing your blood sugar, dealing with weight fluctuations, or battling chronic conditions. And suddenly, the pressure feels even heavier. When you don't feel good physically, it's really hard to feel good emotionally. And that, my friends, can send us down a path of self-doubt, self-criticism, feeling like we're not enough, and then digging into that pint of Ben & Jerry's. I know we've all been there. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't tied to how your body looks, or even how it's functioning right now. It's easy to think, I'll be more confident when I lose 10 pounds, or I'll feel better about myself when my blood sugar levels are stable. And while those goals are important, they don't define who you are. You are worthy of love, care, and respect right now, no matter what your health journey looks like. So let's take a moment to reflect on this. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, or I don't look good enough? Maybe you compared yourself to someone else, another mom, a coworker, or even someone on Instagram. That comparison game is brutal, and it can suck the joy out of our lives. We need to stop that cycle, and it starts by recognizing that you are already valuable just as you are. And most of the time, social media is just the highlight reel of people's lives, not the reality. There is nothing wrong with wanting to improve your health. Absolutely not. But that should come from a place of self-love and not self-loathing. Now let's talk about how we speak to ourselves. Science has actually proven that our brain listens to our words more than anyone else's. Isn't that wild? More than what your doctor says, more than what your family says, more than what your friends say, your brain takes cues from the words that you speak to yourself. That means if you're constantly saying things or thinking things like, I'm never going to get this under control, or I can't change, or I'm a failure, your brain believes it as reality and it responds accordingly. It's a bit like watering a plant. If you keep pouring negativity into your mind, that's what's going to grow. Negativity, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. But here's the flip side. If you speak kindly to yourself, your brain starts to believe those positive words as reality. And it's the same process, just in the other direction. Instead of growing weeds, you start growing flowers. Confidence, self-passion, and resilience. Self-compassion, sorry. I know what you're thinking. Adrian, positive affirmations? Really? Yes, really. There's real science behind this. Studies have shown that self-talk can change the way your brain operates. When you use positive affirmations, your brain releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which help reinforce those positive thoughts and feelings. It's like you're rewiring your brain to believe in yourself. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start talking to yourself like you would to a dear friend who's struggling. Would you tell your best friend that she's a failure? Of course not. You'd encourage her, remind her of all the amazing things she's done, and lift her up. It's time to treat yourself with that same compassion. Go to the mirror and find something you love about yourself. Maybe it's your eyes. Maybe it's your smile. Maybe it's the fact that you're still trying despite the setbacks. Compliment yourself and make a commitment today to stop the negative self-talk. Every time you catch yourself being critical, I want you to stop and pause, and then replace it with something positive, even if it feels awkward at first. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Now let's talk about something I think we forget to do that really helps with this change. Celebrating our small wins. We often wait until we've reached a big goal, whether that's lowering A1C, losing weight, or achieving some other milestone, before we give ourselves permission to feel proud or happy or excited about it. But here's the thing. Those small steps you're taking along the way, they matter just as much, if not more, because they are your inspiration and motivation to achieve more. Maybe you managed your blood sugar a little better today than you did yesterday. That's a win. Maybe you made a healthier food choice at lunch. That's a win. Maybe you went for a walk when you didn't feel like it. And you guessed it, that's a win. Too often we overlook these small victories because we're focused on the big picture. But it's those little steps that lead to the big changes. And if you're constantly waiting for the finish line to celebrate, you're missing out on all the joy that can be found along the way, all the celebration you can do when you make a great choice. So I want you to take a moment today, right now even, to think about something you've done recently that you're excited you did well. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be a step in the right direction. And when you recognize those wins, don't just acknowledge them in your head. Celebrate them. Tell yourself, hey, I did that. This is totally possible. You should feel good about the progress you're making and the life you are living, no matter how small it might seem. Every step forward is a victory and a step towards a more abundant life. You know, one of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is that our self-worth is deeply connected to our ability to care for ourselves. If you don't think you're worth the effort, you're not going to put in the time and energy. that it takes to make healthy changes. It's that simple. But here's the good news. You are worth the effort. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds nice. I genuinely believe it. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, not for misery and self-loathing. You were created with love, intention, and purpose. And that purpose includes taking care of yourself, not just for others, but because you deserve it. You have inherent worth that doesn't change based on how your body looks or how healthy you are right now. You are valuable because you exist, because you were created, and because there is only one of you in this world. And so you need to be taking care of you, girl or boy, whoever else is listening to this podcast. So if you've been feeling like you're not worth the effort, whether that's taking care of your body, making better food choices, or managing your health, I want to challenge that thought today. You are worth it. You are worth the time it takes to prepare a healthy meal. You are worth the effort it takes to move your body. And you are worth the energy it takes to monitor your blood sugar, to make those small changes, and to stick with it, even when it feels hard. And I know it does feel hard sometimes. Change is not easy. But when you start believing that you're worth taking care of, it changes everything. It shifts the way you approach your health. Instead of feeling like it's a burden or a chore, it becomes an act of love. Love for yourself, for others that interact with you, and love for the life that you are living that was given to you. So here's where we're going to get practical. I want you to make a pact with me today, and more importantly, with yourself. This pact is simple, but powerful. I want you to commit to no longer speaking badly to or about your body. From this moment forward, you're going to talk to yourself with love, care, and respect. Imagine for a second that you're trying to help a close friend improve her health. You wouldn't tell them they're a failure. You wouldn't berate them for having a bad day or making a mistake. You'd encourage them. You'd celebrate their little efforts and remind them that progress takes time. That's how I want you to speak to yourself. Like a friend who's in the process of improving and remembers it's about progress, not perfection. Every time you catch yourself thinking or saying something negative about your body, I want you to stop, take a breath, and replace that thought with something positive. It doesn't have to be over the top or unrealistic, just something kind. For example, instead of saying, I hate my body, try saying, I am working on getting healthier, and that's something to be proud of. Or I may not be where I want to be yet, but I'm making progress. This kind of positive self-talk can be transformative. Like I mentioned earlier, your brain listens to what you say. The more you speak kindly to yourself, the more your brain will start to believe it. And when you believe in your worth, when you believe that you deserve love and care, it becomes so much easier to make the changes you need to live a healthier life. I also want to touch on something that's really important to me, and that's the idea that our worth isn't just tied to our bodies, but to something much bigger. I know not everyone believes the same as me, but I firmly believe that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. That means you are unique, special, and created with a purpose. You're not just here by accident. Your life has meaning, and you were created with a love that's beyond anything we can fully comprehend. I know that when you're struggling with health issues, especially something chronic, it's easy to feel discouraged and defeated. It's easy to think that your body is working against you or that you've somehow failed. But I want to remind you today that your body is a gift. Even if it's not functioning perfectly right now, it's still the vehicle that allows you to live, love, and experience this world. And your Creator, He sees you. He knows you, and He loves you just as you are today. And He wants you to be healthy even more than I do. He already paid the price for your healing. Now it's just about walking out that reality. And that's what I remind myself of when I'm feeling low. My worth doesn't come from what I accomplish or how I look or even how I feel. It comes from the fact that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's something no health struggle can ever take away. So when you're tempted to be hard on yourself, when you're feeling like you're not enough, I want you to remember that you are always enough in the eyes of your Creator. And because He loves you, you have every reason to love yourself and take care of the incredible body He gave you. And I don't know who needed to hear this today, but I want you to know that I started this whole business for you. Yes, you. I'm doing this scared, I'm doing it uncomfortable, and I am not giving up because I believe in you. And I believe that you deserve the chance to improve your life and live abundantly. And though it may sound a little cheesy, I truly do love each and every one of you. Otherwise, I would keep all this valuable information to myself, but I can't. I care too much to let fear, uncertainty, or self-doubt keep me from sharing these truths and the freedom that we have found. So I want to encourage you today. Believe in yourself as much as I do. Believe that you are worth taking care of, that you have something valuable to add to this world, and change is possible for you. You wouldn't be here listening to this podcast if you weren't ready for that. And honestly, I don't think you found this podcast by accident. Like I always say to my family and friends, coincidences are when God chooses to remain anonymous. So take heart in my belief in you. And if you're a believer, take heart in God's belief in you. If you're not a believer yet, He still believes in you. And so do I. We love you so much and want you to succeed and want you to be healthy. You've got this, and I've got you. I'm here to hold your hand on this path to change. Together, we're going to create a healthier, happier life one step at a time. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to keep showing up. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Shoot me a message, leave me a review, or share this episode with someone you know who might need a little encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes where we tackle the real life issues that come with balancing your blood sugar, your health, and your life. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.